Hello everyone, and welcome back to English Learning Pod. I'm Jenny, your host. Today we're talking about something really fascinating, culture. You know, culture is such an important part of who we are. It includes our traditions, our food, our holidays, and the way we live every day. So, whether you come from Japan, India, Brazil, or anywhere else in the world, your culture tells a unique story. Stick around as we explore this topic with my guest Ryan, who has some great questions about traditions and customs around the world.
Thanks for having me, Jenny. I'm really excited to talk about this. Actually, I want to ask, what's the difference between culture and tradition? I sometimes get confused about these two words.
That's a brilliant question, Ryan. So, culture is the big picture. It's the entire way of life of a group of people. It includes their beliefs, their values, their language, and their customs. Tradition, on the other hand, is more specific. A tradition is a particular practice or belief that people pass down from one generation to the next. So, you could say that traditions are actually part of your culture. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. So if culture is like the whole picture, tradition is like one piece of that picture, right? Can you give me an example? Like, maybe from your own country or family?
Of course. In my family, we have a tradition where we celebrate Thanksgiving every year with a big dinner. We gather together, and we're grateful for everything we have. Now, this tradition is part of the broader American culture, which values family time and gratitude. But here's something interesting: even though Thanksgiving started many years ago, we still practice it today because we want to preserve our cultural identity. Do you have traditions in your family, Ryan?
Yes, I do. In my country, we celebrate Lunar New Year. Everyone wears new clothes, we clean our houses thoroughly, it's believed to bring good luck, and we visit relatives. But I've noticed that younger people are adopting Western customs more and more. Does that mean our traditional culture is disappearing?
That's a really thoughtful observation. I'd say it's not disappearing, it's evolving. You see, cultures are dynamic. They change and adapt to modern times, which is actually very healthy. But I think the key is finding a balance. You can embrace new customs while still respecting and maintaining your original traditions. Many people do this successfully. They might use technology, for example, to stay connected with their cultural heritage, or they might modify traditions while keeping the core meaning alive.
I like that idea of balance. So, what's your perspective on food culture? I think food is such an important part of any culture, and now we can find cuisines from all over the world in almost every city. Does that make food less special or authentic?
Excellent point. Food culture is absolutely fascinating. Now, you might find Japanese restaurants in America or Italian restaurants in Thailand, but I believe authentic food culture thrives when it's prepared traditionally, with genuine ingredients and respect for the recipe's origins. However, it's also wonderful when cuisines blend and influence each other. That's how we get fusion food. The beauty is that we can learn about other cultures through food. When you eat Thai cuisine, you're experiencing part of Thai culture. So, I think global food availability actually promotes cultural appreciation rather than diminishing authenticity.
That's really interesting. One more question: how do you think young people can stay interested in their cultural heritage when they're exposed to so many different cultures through the internet and social media?
That's such a relevant question for today's world. I think young people should view it as an opportunity, not a challenge. They can share their own cultural practices on social media, learn from others, and feel proud of where they come from. Schools and communities can help by organizing cultural events, teaching traditional arts, and creating spaces where young people can celebrate their heritage. It's also important for families to actively transmit cultural knowledge, tell stories, teach languages, and explain the significance of customs. When young people understand the deeper meaning behind traditions, they're more likely to want to preserve them.
Thank you, Jenny. This has been really helpful. I feel much more confident talking about culture now.
You're very welcome, Ryan. So, to recap, culture is the complete way of life of a group of people, while traditions are specific practices passed down through generations. We learned that cultures evolve and adapt, and that's healthy. We also discussed how food culture brings people together and helps us appreciate different traditions. The key message is that in our modern world, we can celebrate our own cultural heritage while also respecting and learning from others' cultures. Cultural diversity makes our world more interesting and enriching. Now, before we finish, I want to mention that throughout this episode, we used 9 important vocabulary words that will help you with your IELTS and TOEFL preparation. Words like preserve, authentic, and transmit are really useful for discussing culture in formal contexts. Stick around after this episode for our vocabulary review segment, where we'll explain each word in detail and show you more example sentences. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.